There's a hot topic going around, which is this: does AI belong in the classroom? I'm here to argue on the side of yes, it does, and I'll go into some reasons why. But today I'm here to talk about one specific product called EdCafe that is built specifically to be used in the classroom. This tool is meant to augment a teacher's capabilities, but it can also be used in conjunction with students, and we'll get into that. Now, in full transparency, the folks at EdCafe did reach out to me and offer me a free year license if I would just use the product and then do a video on what I thought about it. The only stipulation I gave them was I want to do the video my way. I want to say what I want to say, and I want to offer the good and the bad. And they said, absolutely, we don't have any say in it. We just want you to do an honest review. So I want to mention that up front, but I have spent some time with this product and I'm actually really impressed. A little bit later, not in this video, I'm going to do another video on how students can use AI and specifically how they can use it ethically, because there are a lot of gray areas on how it's being used. It can be used for cheating. Anyway, the focus of today's video is on EdCafe, what tools it provides, and how mature this EdCafe product is in its current state. So let's jump into it. Here we have the main page, and you can see their main title is Brew Teaching Materials with AI. So they're talking about taking common tools that teachers already use and blending it with the value that AI can provide. Now, really quickly, we're going to jump over to pricing and just see you can get a free account and jump in and play around with it, get a feel for whether this is something that would be useful to you. The next one here is the Pro, which is for $7.99 a month, billed annually. Gives you quite a bit on that plan, and that probably is going to be the best plan for most people. Again, I don't know for sure. It depends on the usage and the teacher, but I do find this to be actually a pretty cheap price for the type of tools that it provides you, especially when you look at a lot of us that are paying $20 a month as a base plan just for access to an LLM model like ChatGPT or Claude or Grok. Most of those all cost $20 a month. You can get access to an LLM with all these other tools around it for $8 a month. That's actually pretty good. So to get started with a free account, you can just click Get Started Now. And you can sign up with your Google account. Most of you probably have that because a lot of things are done out of the Google Classroom nowadays. Sign into that, and then we will jump into my account here. And the place that it takes us first is just this kind of home page. It gives you some stats on how many decks, quizzes, resources you have, just some high-level information. Most of the time, you're probably going to be spending in the library here. I am just going to give my ideas about how maybe this could be organized again. Actual teachers would know how to do this a lot better than I would. I want to keep giving that caveat. I'm not a professional teacher. What I'm going to do here is just start with a folder, and let's just say that I am a 9th grade teacher, and so we're going to create a folder, make it green. And now we're in our folder with nothing there. So to get started, we're going to click on Create New up here. And this gives us a list of tools that we have with EdCafe. You can see here slide deck, teaching resources, lesson plan, chatbot, flashcards, AI images, summary notes, quizzes, YouTube quizzes, assignment grader. There's a lot here, and I'm actually quite impressed with how much you get. Again, I'm going to come back to this for $8 a month. This is actually pretty incredible. So if I were a teacher, where would I start? Let's just say I want to start with a lesson plan. I'm just going to go through a few examples of how these tools can be used, more to show how AI can augment these tools in a way that gets around doing it manually like in the old days. The old days, which is me anyway. Let's click on lesson plan. So the first thing that comes up here is the topic. What is the lesson plan on? It gives you an example of solar system, photosynthesis. Let's just say I'm going to do a lesson plan on the Civil War. So we'll do American Civil War. Again, you can keep that pretty vague because you can come in here into additional instructions and give it a little bit more information. So I'm going to come in here and just give it a little bit more information and say this is for 9th grade history class. That will help the model give the appropriate information relevant to the grade level. If it's 1st grade, 12th grade, that's going to change the amount of information and detail the model will give. So that's actually pretty important to tell the model what level that you want the content at. Now you can say search Google for lesson resources. It will go out and do this. You may have heard of RAG, retrieval augmented generation, where it goes and gets other resources and brings that in to augment the LLM and give more relevant content. So we're going to click it just to see what it does here. And the output language, they support multiple languages. We're going to keep it in English and just say generate lesson plan. And it's going to go and take my topic, my grade level, some of the materials that it finds in the Google searches, and then come up with a lesson plan that gives us a starting point on this topic. Okay, so let's take a look at what it gave us here. Unraveling the American Civil War, blah, 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 learning objectives, explain the major causes, identify. It goes and does some essential questions to start a conversation. I love that it cited its sources, so it can give the teacher some sources that may be useful. And it even gives a lesson procedure, opening hook. How do you want to start the conversation with your class? What are some engaging questions? It goes through direct instruction, guided practice, independent practice, and then it goes into extension activities and assessments. And then it gives you some reflections and some options on homework. What I want to point out here is that this is not just like a static thing that you just have to accept and you don't get to change it. This is an editable note. So you can come in here and start to add your own stuff to it. Blah, blah, blah. You can start to move things around, reorder things, cut things in. This is still just a starting point that gives the teacher the ability to then go make it theirs. So here we're then going to click up here, save, and we'll give it a file name, Civil War lesson plan. We choose our 9th grade folder. You can make it public or private. Public will be for anybody in the EdCafe public library. Private could be like, no, I want all my stuff to be private. Let me be clear. Private still means you can share this with your students. It just means it's not publicly discoverable by others. So let's just say we want to make it private. We want to keep all of our plans private to us. We hit save. Now we come back to our folder up here and we have a Civil War lesson plan. Again, we can click in here. We can edit this, brings us back in here. We can start to go and tweak it, make it our own. But this gives us a great starting point for a lesson plan on this topic catered to the 9th grade level. Okay, what else might we want to do? By trade, I'm a software engineer. I've been in that for a long time. So slide decks are, well, especially because I'm in management now, slide decks are my life. So we're going to go look at slide decks because that's what I do a lot of. And again, we're going to start with the same kind of things. What is the topic? What is the audience level? And we're going to say American Civil War. Audience level will be for 9th grade history class. And you can tell it how many slides you want. Let's say we want below 10. Again, you can choose your language. You can choose a theme, which is actually pretty cool. We'll choose chalkboard. So then we'll click generate slides. Now you can see it live, it's going through and creating a slide deck in order of what you might do in a lesson plan. Within a few seconds, you'll have some really cool slides and you'll see as it's generating with images. And like that, now we have 9 slides with images here. Again, just like that, we have a slide deck that we can use in our class presentation. And just like before, this is just a starting point, right? You can come in here and start adding your own slides and adding your own text or modifying the text. What we're going to do is come up here to save, and we'll just say Civil War slides. Again, we're going to put it in the 9th grade folder. We'll make it private and hit save. Now, notice something here. You are not locked in to the EdCafe system. You can still come in here and edit these slides here, and it makes it really nice. But we're going to go to export. You can export this to PowerPoint or Google Slides, the 2 most used tools for any kind of slide presentation. So you can take these, put it to your own account, and then modify it the way you normally would, which I love. I love when products don't lock you into their ecosystem. They give you a lot of value to stay in there and generate and edit, but they also allow you to take your content to other tools that you're more used to, or maybe you just have more training in them, or maybe your school requires you to have your content in those areas. You can take them to those accounts and you're not locked in here. I think that's really worth calling out, actually. Okay, so let's look at some other tools that they have. We've done a lesson plan, we've done a slide deck. We can do flashcards, we can do AI images. Here I can say, create an image of the American Civil War with the North and South about to embark in battle. And then you can choose what style you want this image, digital painting, comic book. I like old film because that's relevant to this topic. And then just hit generate image. And then behind the scenes, just like you were using ChatGPT or Gemini to do image generation, this is doing the same thing, taking your topic, your style, and then creating some images here. And if we look back here, now we have these two images based on this prompt and style. And I can, if we click right here, I can download these images. I can put those in slides. I can put them up I can put them on a printed document. I love that it's just kind of trying to bring the whole ecosystem together and giving you options. And so we'll hit save here. Civil War images, private, save. So what I want to point out here is we are building up an entire portfolio for the 9th grade history class on the Civil War, all using tools that we're used to coupled with AI. Okay, let's go here again to create new. Now I'm going to come back to Chatbot. I'm going to do that one last. I find that one to be actually pretty cool, but I'm going to come down here to quizzes. Let's say that you want to create a quiz on, again, American Civil War, and you choose what your quiz type is. Do you want it to be multiple choice? Do you want it to be short answer? Mixed? We'll do mixed. Number of questions, you can have it choose, or you can decide I want 10 questions. Again, any additional requirements for the quiz. Now, notice in this one, it's a little bit different where they tell you to put the student level down here. We've done it in the additional instructions before. I would say as some feedback to the EdCafe folks, that's a little confusing. Maybe keep your interface a little bit more consistent. But here we're going to say 9th grade and English again. And we're just going to hit generate quiz. And now it's going to go take that criteria, and it's doing this in real time here and creating both multiple choice and short answer quiz. That again is just a starting point. We can go and modify that. Now we can see we have quite a few multiple choice questions here with the selected correct answer. So we can go and double check that. Maybe the LLM got it wrong. We always want to double check AI's work. And then down further, we can see it also gave us some short answer, freestyle types of questions. And then it gives a suggested answer, right? These don't have an obvious right or wrong answer because they're not multiple choice, but it gives you some suggestions on what the question is asking for and how to grade the answer. So we will come here and click save and say Civil War quiz, 9th grade folder, private, save. And you can see we're really building up quite a great portfolio on this topic. Now, this is a tool that I thought was interesting that I hadn't really thought of before. And if we go to create new and we see a YouTube quiz, and initially I was like, what in the world is this? You click on it and it says, give us a YouTube link. So what they're saying is, a lot of times teachers nowadays are using all kinds of tools as part of their instructions for their students, YouTube being one of those. YouTube is a massive source of great content and information, and a lot of teachers are using that, and they may assign students a YouTube video or a list of videos to go and watch as part of their learning, and maybe even say, hey, watch this YouTube video. We're going to have a quiz on it the next time. So let's go to YouTube. I've got some stuff already pulled up here. And here I typed in summary of American Civil War. Now here's one here, the American Civil War explained. It's only about 12 minutes. So I'm going to grab the link to that video, and then we're going to come back here and paste that link in to YouTube and then hit go. And what this is going to do is it's going to go parse the YouTube video and its script. And then it's going to allow us, we come back here to the page and say, we're going to create a quiz based on this video. And I'm going to say, let's just do multiple choice. And we're going to say, this is a 15 question quiz. And this is for 9th grade. And we're going to just say, generate quiz. This quiz is only focused on this YouTube video. And if we come and look now, all of these questions that it's generated are from the video. Now here we'll go and save this again and just say YouTube Civil War quiz. And we'll say private and save. And here we've got our YouTube Civil War quiz. We've got a lot of stuff here, and I don't want to go into all of it. I don't want to make this video too long. I want to give you a sense of what this is able to do. So I'm going to show two more things here. The first one is, awesome, you've got these quizzes, you've got these slide decks. How do I actually share this with students? What if I want them to take it home? It's a great question. Let's click on this quiz and hit assign. Now we've got all kinds of options here. The first one is a QR code. You can put that up on the screen, and all the students, because they all have their stupid smartphones now, and they can use their camera, and that will pull up the quiz. Most likely, though, the teachers will probably like to say, like, copy this link, and then they'll send that to the student. But another cool thing is it directly integrates with Google Classroom, which a lot of teachers and schools use. So I don't have an account set up here, I can't show it, but I do love that they directly integrate with that, because this is a huge tool in a lot of classrooms. So let's see what this looks like. If I just grab the link and I sent that to the students, we'll go to an incognito window and we'll paste that in. This is what the student will see. They'll come in and say, hi, what's your name? I'm Eric, play quiz. I'm gonna get 0 of these right, I'm sure. I don't know, no idea, or the main effects, you tell me, and now we'll submit our answers. And then right away, the student gets the results. I got a 14% on my quiz, and you can see 1 correct, 6 incorrect. It shows the ones that I got incorrect with the correct answer and an explanation. That's actually really neat. Now that's easy enough for the multiple choice quizzes, but what about for the free text quizzes? Here I can see, I don't know, and it says your response indicates a lack of understanding, which is kind of interesting. It infers the student's level of understanding and then gives a suggested answer and then helps them to know what the right answer might be. I really like this. I like the use of AI to help the student understand where they might have gotten wrong with a suggested answer. And the other thing that's really helpful to the teacher, we come back to the teacher's view, is you can see I've already got 1 response in the teacher's view here. It says up here, I've had 1 participant, there was 14% and a median time that it took to take the test. So you can see if your students are blowing through this or taking their time. And I can see what the overall answers were from the students. Over here, I can see the participants. So here it breaks it down by individual students. And I can click into that and see what the individual students wrote and not just the collective answers that it gives here. This I like because it kind of tells you, where the distribution is on the students' answers. And that might actually help the teacher know if this was a good quiz. Maybe there's some bad questions. So it gives you that overall view and the individual view. I love that. Again, over here, you can download the report in a CSV format because maybe you as a teacher have some kind of workflow that you like to ingest this and do your own analysis or tracking. And this is just another example of EdCafe giving you the power to take this information out and put it where you find the most useful. And again, I love that. Okay, the thing I wanted to save for the last, because I actually think this is really cool. I get excited about it. I get excited about it because a chatbot is what we're used to using when we go and use AI. We go to ChatGPT, we go to Gemini, we're chatting with a bot. It's familiar. And this tool allows you as an educator to create your own custom chatbot on a custom topic. And you can create multiple of these. So what I decided to try here was, let's create a chatbot that helps students analyze their writing. We want a chatbot that can give suggestions on where they did well and some suggestions on where they can improve. Now, I can start with just a general description of what I want the chatbot to do. So let's paste this in. I'm saying your purpose, and I'm speaking again to the chatbot, your purpose is to analyze written documents from students and give feedback on what they did well as where they can improve. Refer to your included documents for suggestions, and I'll show what that means in a second. And I think this is important too. Your tone. Your tone is to be kind and supportive, not overly critical, but give good, honest feedback so students know how to improve. The tone is important. We don't want it to come across as really naggy or highly critical. We want to be positive, and we can tell the chatbot that that's the tone it should take. So let's hit Create Chatbot. And it took my general instructions and it's creating a more explicit set of instructions for the chatbot. We want to tell the model its role, its steps, interaction guidelines, and then greeting messages. And we can come in here and modify this. If you don't like some of this, you can remove a section of it. If you want to add your own stuff to it, you can. Now over here on the left side, we can see, okay, this is our instructions. Let's go to our capabilities. We want this chatbot, when somebody's interacting with it, to be able to upload files because they need to upload their assignments, and enable voice messages so the student can talk to the chatbot. Now, knowledge is where we can add our own resources that the LLM uses to give its feedback on. So we're going to come here. I've got a couple sites that I found how to teach writing skills to older kids, and we're going to use that. I'll say add knowledge. I can upload a file. I can add a web page or text directly. We're going to add this web page and hit save. And now you can see up here, it's got that link in there. And I'm going to grab one other one here. That was just another resource for teaching appropriate writing. We're going to hit add web page and put that URL in and hit save. And that's going to put that up here. We can put a whole bunch of these in if we want. These documents help guide the model to the standards that you want it to go by when it's giving feedback. Language, you can tell it what language. We're going to keep it English and it has a voice, but we're going to hit save. We're going to say Civil War chatbot. We're going to put that in our private visibility here and then hit save. And now we've got this chatbot created that we can share with our students and let them interact with it. So what does that look like? Again, we come over here to assign and click that, and we can just copy the link. And let's go back to our incognito window. And this is what the student would see when they get the link. They're going to come up here with this chatbot. I'm going to put my name in and say start chat. And here's what the chatbot says. I'm here to help you improve your writing, share a piece of your writing, ask for tips, and then request examples. It's telling the student how to use it. And again, all of this up here can be modified by you. Okay, so what I did was I just grabbed a writing sample of a student online that was just publicly available and put that in here and then asked it to analyze the document and give me feedback on what is good and where I can improve. So the bot took this and parsed the text, and then according to our guidance on the bot, showed the strengths in writing, clear main idea and purpose, use of evidence and sources, logical structure. It came down and also said, Here's some areas of improvement: enhanced sentence variety and engagement, clarity and tighten some phrases. Lots of really great stuff, but in a good tone and useful and broken down in a clear, actionable format for the student. And the student can just keep going back and forth on this and they can go and revise their text, submit it again, and keep doing it and iterating based on the guidance it's getting from this bot. This is a really cool and useful tool that I hadn't really thought of, and that I think EdCafe did a really good job on how to incorporate and use AI in a really natural way that we're used to using everywhere else. Students already have access to AI. They're already used to using bots and interacting with it. This is a natural way to do it, but this is a custom bot that the educator purposed for this particular topic. And you can create a whole bunch of these. Now, just like in our quizzes where you can go and see the results of the quizzes, we can see the chat histories on your bot. This is actually pretty interesting because now I can go see, one, who's using it, and two, if it's being used appropriately. Students can't just put in some inappropriate stuff because you're going to see the whole history. So here's my session here, and I can click on it as the educator, and I can see exactly how the student interacted with the bot. I see exactly what they uploaded. I see exactly what questions they asked, and I can see what responses were given to the student. This helps me in a few ways. One, I know that it's being used. Two, I know that it's being used appropriately. And three, I can see if the bot is giving appropriate responses based on what the students are asking. And it may be that we need to go tweak the bot in its instruction set because it's not doing what we thought it was. And so that's actually really powerful to give us inside information on where it's working and where it's not. And then again, we can come back here and say edit, and we can change these instructions if we need to hone it and tweak it to get it to do what we want it to do correctly. So that's most of what I wanted to show on this EdCafe tool. There's a lot more to it. I hope that you go and sign up a free account, give it a go, try out a few things, try the different tools and the customization of it. I really think EdCafe has done a really good job of giving a really good set of tools to educators, as well as the ability to export those tools if needed into places that you use more often, like Word and Google Docs. They give you the ability to export your data where you need it to be and still use this as a central place to create that data. I hope this has been useful. I'd love to hear your comments if you go and try this on what you found, what you like. I also want you to come to the comments and share what you don't like or what you think can be improved. The folks at EdCafe are going to come and they're going to monitor those comments, and they're going to take that feedback and try to hone this and give you what you want. And so use that opportunity as a sounding board to tell these folks what is good and how it can be even better. Thank you for taking the time to come and listen to this video. I really appreciate it. If this is useful to you, I ask that you consider subscribing. It's really helpful to a small channel like me. I have more good stuff to come soon, so please tune in again. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a great day.